My sister, the pampered one, was always treated like the family's rising star. Private schooling, fancy vacations, and a shiny new car the moment she hit 18. But at our grandmother's birthday dinner, she found out I had quietly bought a penthouse in New York City, and she absolutely flipped. She screamed. My dad's fork slipped right out of his hand, and my aunt delivered one comment that froze the entire table. Hey, Hajichi. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I'm Maya, 30F, and if you grew up overshadowed by the designated golden child, you can probably predict where this story is headed. My younger sister, Chloe, 27F, arrived 3 years after me and has been the family's crown jewel since literally day one. I'm not being dramatic, just stating facts. While I wore hand-me-downs and got long lectures about the value of hard work, Chloe got ballet classes, fresh iPhones the week they came out, shopping trips in Manhattan, and a cute red BMW for her 18th birthday. She attended private school. I went to public. She was flown out to Coachella. I was told to watch the house, while everyone else enjoyed the festival. Every time I brought home a perfect report card, the reaction was a lukewarm. That's nice, Maya. But did you see how amazing Chloe's doing? When I got into a solid state university, the message was take out loans. You're an adult now. When Chloe got accepted to an outrageously expensive private college with zero direction, my parents covered her tuition and her apartment. No hosetashchen. By 23, I was working 2 jobs and living in a cramped studio. By 25, I had a full-time marketing job and took on freelance gigs in the evenings just to chip away at my student loans. Nobody asked how I was doing. Nobody cared to notice. Meanwhile, Chloe was blowing up on Instagram with modeling shots, partying with influencers, and treating life like one long photo shoot. She went viral once for a TikTok dance, and overnight, she became the family's shining accomplishment. My mom even joked that maybe I should ask Chloe for advice on how to be successful. That was the moment I stopped trying to prove myself. Instead, I focused on saving quietly. I moved in with roommates, worked every holiday that came up, lived off instant noodles when money got tight. I stacked side gigs, made smart investments, skipped vacations. No one ever checked in. They assumed I was fine simply because I didn't complain. Fast forward to last weekend. Our grandmother turned 85, and we hosted an upscale birthday dinner at a fancy restaurant downtown. Extended relatives, friends, speeches, the whole production. I arrived wearing a simple black dress, slipped the hostess my card without saying anything, and took a seat in the far corner. I'd arranged ahead of time to pay for Grandma's meal. Chloe strolled in 40 minutes late, gliding through the room like some red carpet guest, designer dress flowing, kissing everyone dramatically and loudly moaning about how drained she was from her brand meeting in L.A. Midway through dinner, my uncle asked in a casual tone, "So, Maya, still doing marketing?" I smiled. "Yeah, still remote," I said. "Actually, I just settled in my new place last month." "What place?" my mom asked. "Oh," I said, setting down my drink like it was no big deal. "I bought a penthouse in Manhattan, Upper West Side. Closed in early October." Silence. Absolute silence. My dad's fork hit the table. Chloe froze in the middle of a selfie. And then, right on cue, Chloe shrieked. Not just a gasp. A full-on scream loud enough that nearby tables turned to look. "A penthouse in New York? Are you kidding me?" she shouted. The whole room went quiet except for her pounding breaths. Everyone stared. Then my aunt, my mom's older sister, lifted one eyebrow and said calmly, "Well, I guess we finally know who the real success in this family is." I had never seen my mother turn that pale before. The rest of the dinner felt like we were all trapped in some kind of standoff. Chloe refused to sit again. She just stood there trembling, ranting to no one in particular. How does she have a penthouse in Manhattan? That can't be real. That's not fair. She doesn't even post. My mom tried to soothe her, rubbing her back and whispering, "Sweetheart, maybe she's exaggerating, or maybe she's renting, or it's not really that kind of penthouse." Then my dad chimed in, way too loudly. "This better not be family money, Maya." That one hit me straight in the chest. I blinked. "Excuse me?" He pressed on. "If you used any of the inheritance." I actually laughed. "What inheritance? You told me years ago Grandma's estate was going to Chloe for her creative ventures." More silence. Grandma, bless her, just sipped her wine, eyes sharp, saying nothing while taking everything in. Dinner wrapped early after that. The cake never even came out. People muttered uncomfortable goodbyes and hurried out. Chloe stormed toward the valet with mascara smeared down her cheeks, heels dangling from her fingers. She was crying and whispering to herself, "She's lying. She has to be lying." I discreetly paid the bill again and stepped outside into the cold night air. My dad trailed after me to the curb. "Maya, listen," he said, trying to sound measured. "I don't know what this apartment situation is, but you need to understand how this looks. Your sister is dealing with a lot right now. She's building her brand. She needs wins. She's the face of this family." I stared right at him. "And what am I? The invisible wallet?" He flinched but said nothing. "You're the one who told me to stop expecting help, to be independent. I did exactly that. I bought my place by myself. No loans, no co-signer. I earned it." He muttered, "You should have told us." I shook my head. "You would have told Chloe, and then it wouldn't have felt like mine anymore." That was the moment I felt a gentle tap on my arm. It was Grandma. She didn't speak. She simply took my hand, tucked something into my palm, and gave me the softest nod. When I opened my hand, there was a small envelope. Inside it, a check, signed, along with a note that read, "For the one who never asked but always gave." I almost cried. She just winked and headed back toward her town car. I looked at my dad and said, "Maybe next time, remember which daughter spent her whole life in the background, because I'm not there anymore." Then I walked away. After that, I went silent. No updates, no messages, nothing. I just returned to my actual life. Early morning meetings, coffee-fueled strategy decks, and the skyline outside my home office window. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt drained. Then, the messages began. Monday, 8:14 a.m., Chloe DM'd me on Instagram. "Hey, can we talk? I think this could actually be good for both of us." I ignored it. Another message followed. "I have a collab idea. You help with my brand, and I help you get seen. You're smart, but, no offense, kind of invisible. With my reach and your brain, win-win." Then came the voice note. I listened to it through my headphones. At first, her voice was sugary sweet. "Maya, I was thinking you could be my business manager. We'd split everything 60-40. I'd be the face, obviously, and you could handle all the behind-the-scenes stuff. I trust you more than anyone. Plus, think about how proud Mom and Dad would be." Then her tone shifted, low, sharp. "You owe me for making this family look good all these years. Don't forget, without me, you'd still be some frumpy background extra." That one actually made me laugh out loud. Still, I didn't respond. Tuesday night, a long email from my mom landed in my inbox, titled, "Don't let this ruin the family." She began with, "Maya, I know you think staying silent is the mature thing to do, but Chloe is heartbroken. She cried for hours after dinner. Your father and I are just trying to keep the peace." Then came my favorite part. "You've always been the strong one. That's why we expected less from you. You could handle more. Chloe can't. She's different, more sensitive. She needs the spotlight. It's what gives her confidence. And finally, we'd like you to consider helping her get her business off the ground, both financially and emotionally. We're asking you as your parents. Please don't say no." I read the whole thing twice. Then I noticed something at the bottom, a classic boomer slip-up. She'd accidentally forwarded an entire email chain between her and my dad. And buried in that thread was this gem. "Maya's finally doing well. If she plays hardball, we'll remind her how much we sacrificed. And if that doesn't work, Chloe can leak something online. Drama sells. This could still work out." Something in me cracked right then. They weren't reaching out because they were proud or sorry or even curious about. They didn't want to know how I pulled it off. They want a slice of it. So I opened a new email, attached a PDF titled "Breakdown of Payments Made to Family Since 2017, Rent I'd Covered, Vacations I'd Partially Funded, even the credit card bill I paid off during one of Chloe's emergencies. Total, $87,442.76. Then I typed, "Attached is a detailed invoice. If we're framing this as business, let's be transparent. I don't put money into people who treat me like a utility. Please remove me from any future conversations." And from the group chat I was never added to in the first place. I hit send. 5 minutes later, Chloe posted a story. Some people change, some people just get mean, over a plain black screen. The next morning, I woke up to 3 missed calls, 17 texts, and one notification I absolutely did not expect. Wire transfer received. $87,442.76 from Aunt. Message: family owes you. Let's start there. 2 weeks after that, we were summoned to Grandma's house. Not through a text or a dinner invite. A formal letter, handwritten, delivered to each of us. Sunday at 4. Be there. No excuses. When I got there, Chloe's car was already in the driveway, parked front and center with the hazard lights flashing like a warning sign. Inside, my parents sat rigid and uncomfortable. My aunt was next to Grandma, completely composed, sipping from a floral teacup like she already knew exactly what was coming. We traded stiff small talk until Grandma entered the room holding a thin manila folder and said one very pointed sentence. "I'm not dead yet, but I'm not stupid either." The whole room froze. "For years," she went on, "I've watched this family act like Maya was perfectly fine simply because she never asked for anything. I saw her ignored, undervalued, and taken advantage of, and I never once heard her complain." Then she shifted her gaze to Chloe. "And I watched you burn through money as if it came with your birth certificate. I excused it for a long time, assuming it was just immaturity. But now I see entitlement. I see ego. And I see manipulation." Chloe scoffed. "Seriously, Grandma? Are you drunk?" That's when Grandma opened the folder. "This is a partial update to my will. It takes effect immediately. Each of you will receive one document today. Mine has already been officially filed." She handed Chloe a single sheet. Chloe read it once, blinked, read again, and then, like a child denied a toy, she shrieked. "This is a joke. You can't do this. You're giving her everything. The apartment, the stocks, even the place in Florence. She's not even close to you. She moved away." Grandma's voice was glacial. "She didn't move away. You pushed her away." My dad shot to his feet. "This is ridiculous. You're making a huge mistake." But Grandma cut him off sharply. "The mistake happened years ago, when you decided to have a favorite. When you allowed one daughter to become the family's punching bag while the other was turned into a shallow brand." My mom was crying now, silent, messy tears. I stayed still, staying calm, until Chloe suddenly lunged toward my papers, my copy, and Matt stood up with surprising force. "Try it," he said. "I dare you." Chloe froze, backed away, trembling and humiliated. Grandma looked at me then, her tone softening. "Maya, your copy is with the lawyer. You'll receive the entire trust portfolio this week. I have only one request. Don't waste it on them." I nodded, unable to speak past the tightness in my throat. Chloe stormed out first. My dad followed, face flushed, mumbling about attorneys. My mom lingered for a few seconds, her eyes unfocused, then stood and left without saying anything. Grandma looked straight at me and murmured, "You earned every bit of this, and they all know it. That's why they're so angry." That night, I let the city do the talking for me. First through a post, then through silence, and finally through a kind of calm I hadn't felt in years. At 7:42 p.m., I uploaded a single photo to Instagram. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a desk overlooking the Manhattan skyline, and one champagne glass glowing in the last gold stretch of daylight. Caption: earned. Not gifted. Mutegs. No hashtags. Nothing else. Within an hour, Chloe had blocked me. My dad sent one of those vague "family is complicated" texts. My aunt responded with nothing but a clinking glass emoji. My former boss wrote, "You finally posted. Took you long enough." But the best message came from Grandma at 8:14 p.m. Perfect lighting. "You always knew how to disappear. I'm glad you finally stepped into the light." Later that night, I didn't go out. Didn't toast to anything. I stayed barefoot in the living room with the windows open, the wind drifting up from the river. My phone kept buzzing nonstop. I ignored it. The trust transfer had gone through. The Florence apartment was officially mine. So was the brownstone in Brooklyn. Nobody else even knew about the portfolio, the stocks, the bonds, the nonprofit foundation Grandma wanted me to run quietly for the girls like you. the ones who gave without ever being asked. I poured myself a drink, and I tore open the envelope my lawyer had sent over by courier. Nothing shocking inside, just confirmation of everything I already knew. At 10:03 p.m., one final text came through. Unknown number. She's losing it. Says she wants to move in with you. Says you owe her. I responded, tell her I left the door open, then build a wall right behind it. No reply after that. The next morning, flowers arrived from my aunt. No note. Only a small gold lioness keychain tucked between the petals. Grandma called around noon. All she said was, feels good, doesn't it? And it did. Not because I come out on top, but because for the first time, they weren't speaking over me, they were speaking about me. Before bed, I left a single sticky note on my mirror. Just one sentence. They only noticed once they couldn't use you. Then I powered off my phone, took one last glance at the skyline, and slept like someone who finally stopped fighting to be visible.